All right. Um, like I said, Scott was incorporating the.
Here it is, and it's
Oh, you
also
got it?
got, I went ahead and did my edits to what Scott sent out,
Okay. All right.
because it's pretty incomplete.
Oh yeah, but again, it's going to be that. Well, the only thing we're putting in is stuff that we've kind of settled on, and the two
But
things.
it's still incomplete.
Oh yeah, very incomplete. And then there's two, but it was the less than 1 acre and under grandfather and the PD.
Yeah, those are in there,
Yeah,
and I had a few comments on that, but
yeah.
there are a lot of the stuff that we already made changes on and didn't get in.
Oh really?
Yeah, a lot.
Well, let me look at them and.
Well, we go through it. I mean, I just didn't go through it.
Yeah. Well,
Get out of here.
you got a copy of it?
This is the one.
Oh, it
you
is.
sent out.
Oh, you brought me. Okay.
Why, you got the only one I edited. I made a copy, one copy.
Can we get in there and copy another one? I didn't copy his on the email. In fact, I'm not sure. He may have sent it to my councilman email, and I don't check that all the time.
Yeah, that's where it was. They all go to. They have to.
Do they have to?
Yeah, they can't go to your personal.
Well, yeah, we can walk through these.
Okay, yeah, I just, on page 2, it's got that, everything is
ETJ.
done between now and when we incorporated, and that's not correct. It's, and it's also page 2 says about the ETJ. Well, the ETJ is part of it.
Well, I think
So
that's.
that not to be, I knocked it out every time and it still stays in.
Well, I don't think we ever officially said let's knock it out. I think we had it highlighted because we've got to take it out. We can't.
It has to take out
Yeah.
because Mr. Berman said
Yeah, you
none of
can't.
this applies to the ETJ.
ETJ.
And it was written, and I mean it's 2 years ago, and it was written as if it applied to the ETJ.
Yeah, it can't.
It doesn't.
It does. Yeah.
And on page 3, that he had SF, but there's SF1 and SF2.
Mhm.
So I filled in SF1 as single family with the
Yeah, and I've got
existing
changes
before.
that we need to talk
SF2
about.
is, but the problem with SF2 is now we have AR is greater than 5, so SF2 has to be 1 to 5, and so
1 to
not
5,
1 to 2.5. It has to be.
Right.
And
I agree.
and then
Yeah, I think we pretty much have decided that.
well, but it hadn't been entered.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and then on 2.2, we're coming down where it says under AR, it's density limited in this area to residents under 2.5 acres. I thought we talked about keeping everything 1 acre for simplicity. And then SF1, again, SF1, SF2, and SF2 is lots less than, now it's less than 5.0 acres. That's a single family 2. It's 1 to 5.0, and but greater than 1. So that didn't get entered.
Well, and again, this is just a draft.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I keep saying
But yeah,
these
he
things
needs
and they
to.
don't get entered, and they need to be entered.
I will.
So we don't have to keep doing this over and over. On page 5, again, it's another one about the ETJ within this. Well, the ETJ's got to come out up on page, the 3rd line under signage.
Yeah.
That doesn't apply. And
Oh,
then
wait, on page 5.
that's the top of page 5
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm on page 8.
within the town's ETJ. Well,
He still has it
Yeah.
highlighted.
I don't know what they were doing, but it's anyway. But then under section 7, still on page 5, where it still comes down to single family units is per 2 under ARs for 2.5 acres.
Yeah.
I think all that's just make it 1 acre everywhere.
Yeah. And we're going to get some pushback on that, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, but Tara was
No,
all wrong in the meeting the other night. She said, no, the minimum is 2.5. Well, no, she
it's 1.
signed this. It's one that.
Yeah, I agree.
She signed it. She did it. I didn't do it.
I know.
And
That's
she
what
said that
was so crazy
in
about
the
it.
meeting the other
Yeah.
night. And
Yeah.
I said,
No.
no, she said, no, 2.5. I said, it's what?
Well,
Anyway,
but yeah, we're gonna make it, but let's,
and then over on page 6, the same thing is under SF2. It's not less than 2.5 to 1. It's less than 5 of 1.0.
yeah,
And then on page 7, it's another one that it says it's since when we were incorporated, and we discuss that every
put the
time.
date in there.
It's not. It's after we pass the resolution.
Resolution, right,
Ordinance.
Ordinance.
March of 24.
right.
And there's several places where that's in, and the same on page 8, at a couple of places at the top. And then Daryl, this is on part D. This is the part you and I disagree with. This is about, I don't think we should be reviewing the plats. I mean the stuff coming out of what the
Deed restriction.
deed restrictions are. That's, to me,
No,
that's setting up the council to do something a long time after you and I are gone. And I
no,
don't agree with that.
I understand, but understand if you go and look at other towns with this issue, just like ours, if you look at the language, we are not making a decision. We're never going to make a decision about deed restriction.
Then there's no reason to have the part about us reviewing it.
We have to review it in relationship to zoning.
I don't say that, and Mr. Berman didn't say that.
Well,
Mr.
the
Berman
council,
said, no, we have nothing
but the
to do
council's
with it.
agreed to it.
No, we didn't either.
Well, they didn't object to it, so it's in the draft. They're going to have the finals look at the ordinance, but they did say that we told them what we were doing. Everybody said, okay, that's why it's now in
And I
here.
objected, and Terry's sitting right here, and he says his words were that that'd be setting up the council for future people to have to do this. I said, that's right. That's why we don't want to do that.
One thing I've read, studying up on talking about the language of
Mhm.
and talking about interpreting deed restrictions, a lot of towns they try to align the zoning with deed restrictions for certain PD zonings, but they also have a blurb in there that says that they heavily rely on legal counsel. They do not interpret. They rely on legal counsel to make the interpretations for them. So it's towns do it. But they don't do it on their own, or they shouldn't.
Well, because and then the truth is, most towns have inside councils.
Right.
They don't have to go outside like us and
Like
pay.
we do.
They have inside councils,
Right.
so those guys they work on a salary. So yes, they have them do those things and they're the appropriate ones, but
Right.
not the council itself. And we certainly don't want to say the staff should. We don't want to set up people for future councils. And anyway.
Well,
That's something that I'm going to be
That's fine.
against.
yeah, you have that right to be against it. But the council has approved that and understand.
No, we didn't.
Let me say this. They did not object to incorporating it in, and they will
Yes,
eventually have the final say so.
they.
We are only an advisory, and we have had that much. So, but regardless,
No.
well, let's not
You've
argue.
heard Mike say that repeatedly.
I
We
will-
don't want to commit other councils to something that you're doing. So
No, we're
not
not.
gonna that's not, the council didn't agree to that.
No, well, I think you don't understand the issue. I'll bring
Well,
all.
I understand it real clearly. I don't think you understand it. We're not committing the council to do reviews of other people's deeds. Only because
read
said we shouldn't.
Read what we've written, right?
No,
And-
you wrote, not me.
Okay, the committee agreed to it.
No, they didn't.
This committee,
No, we
Agreed
did
to.
not.
all right,
I'm coming in on the
I know.
plan, so
All
I
right.
know what we're talking
You
about.
on the
agreed to
PD,
it, not the
on the
rest of us.
PD,
Okay, so
PD zone.
okay, we talked about that.
Let's
for
talk about it.
Is your mic on?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
We talked about when the PD was getting brought up that at that time that the benefit of the PD, that's for people to have the deed restrictions, that it flags people that have, like I said, in the neighborhoods that have deed restrictions, PD lets, when they come up here and say, hey, I want to talk about our property, I want to do something, it kind of like flags it for the secretary.
Mhm.
But, I mean, that's
we
pretty
look,
much what we've talked about. I know we got a form in here
look
somewhere.
at, yeah, and look at page 6 and what we said, and I can bring you tons and tons of write-ups over there. So I've researched it, and yes, we're only, deed restrictions are between property owners.
Wait a minute, where is this on page 6?
They,
You said page 6.
did I say 6? Hold on, let me put my glasses on. 8, page 8.
Okay.
And this is where the PD zoning is. Yes, we only enforce PD in every case that is
We don't enforce PD.
every
We don't enforce zoning.
PD zoning. Every case that we've had where someone is in a deed restricted subdivision, you can read all of the letters. That's exactly what we say.
What you
We're
said.
Well, I sent it to you and Mike. Y'all agreed, and we sent it
No,
to
we
the
did
owner.
not agree. And
We
Mr.
sent it to
Berman
the
did not
owner.
agree.
Well, you never.
That's you, Dale. That's
you
not
never-
the rest of us.
You never disagree with the letters I sent to the people, did you?
You don't have anything. Those letters that you sent are yours. You
No,
didn't
they're the
send them to
town.
me to
No,
edit.
they're the town.
Or I would have cut it
I
out.
sent them to you. Well, you got a copy of every one of them. You and me and Mike get every copy. Every time. So I'm not sure why you're having this problem. Yes, we only do.
Because you're putting it in
All right.
zoning.
All right, well,
When you
let me-
wrote those letters, that was you writing it for yourself, not
No,
for the
sir.
zoning issue.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes,
I
it
wrote
was.
those for the town, not for me.
We're talking now about zoning,
All right,
putting
let's-
it in,
All right, stop.
memorializing it in
All right,
zoning for future
let's
council.
back up and explain it to you. Yes, we agree, and I agree with Berman. We're only here to enforce zoning. However, there is an exposure if we just do zoning without looking at those deed restrictions. Let me finish. Without those deed restrictions, we could inadvertently give people bad information. Well, if you go back and look at all those
That's
letters,
not
wait,
what
let me
Berman
finish.
said.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. I've got it in writing.
All right, then
He said, we have nothing to do with
we
deed
don't,
restrictions.
and we're not doing anything with
Yes.
them. Read it. Read that.
You're saying
Hey,
we
Jay.
review it and give advice. You do
No, we
not
don't.
give advice
We
on
have-
stuff that we don't need to.
No, what we do tell them is, here's the zoning. You have deed restrictions. This may conflict with the deed restrictions. I wrote one last week. So look at your deed restrictions to make sure, and what we tell them is lean towards the more restricted.
And that's all. What
That-
you're saying here is we review,
No, I'm not.
we don't
All right,
review.
tell me in here where it says that.
No, you just said you tell them to review.
No, it's
it.
in the ordinance. Tell me where it says that. I
Are we
may
talking
not
about,
hold you
let's
to
talk
the
about
fact.
D 1, 2, and 3. I guess is what
Right.
we're talking about.
Staff shall review the requested lot for consistency with zoning ordinance and the applicable deed restrictions. That's what you wrote in.
Mhm.
I keep striking out.
All right. For
Because that
PD
it's
zone
not our
property.
business to get into other people's deed restrictions. It's
Mhm.
committing the town.
No, that's not what it says.
It's committing the
Read
town to future.
No,
for
it doesn't.
future. Yeah, it is.
No, it doesn't. And we say there, it's in bold. Council requires zoning and ordinance applicable laws. But it was in bold. It's not in bold in here. All right. Hold on. It's closed. Let me find it. This provision only conflicts with the provision of applicable deed restrictions. No more restricted covenants shall control unless otherwise required by the law, court order. Hold on, let me find it.
This would be the handout that he.
Oh, okay, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, that's right. And it just says to evaluate compliance with zoning ordinance and the deed restriction. But our job, and we can add that wording to it, that's fine. This, again, is still just a draft, but we have to look at their deed restriction and we have to tell them if there's a conflict.
No, we don't. Damn it.
Damn it, I can
You
show
are
you all the documents.
This is
I'll
not
bring them all
our
to you.
business. Berman has said
No,
it's not our
he hasn't said
business.
that. I'll bring you all the documents. Let's
They're
not.
your documents. They're not council.
No, they're not my. There's documents I found. I didn't write the document.
That's right. And we got to go by what Mr. Berman says.
Well, he's not always right.
Well, you're sure as hell not always right.
All right,
When was the last interaction with Berman on this? Was this since our last?
Well, he will
meeting?
eventually get the whole thing and do it.
I mean, regarding this issue.
This issue.
What you're referring to?
Mike
Years
asked him
ago.
and he sent back an email.
You're talking about the thing back in January, that email that we started with, correct?
Well, why don't you go to the mayor and have him send these to Berman and get a response? How about that? Now that they're written, why not do that?
I'll talk to Mike.
Yeah, I think
Because
you
this is
should.
not what something
I
the
think you should.
town should be doing.
I think you should. All right, let's move on. We're not going to solve this one here, and that's fine.
Okay, the next page 9, there's nothing under SF1 and SF. It should be SF2. And
Well-
basically SF1,
Well-
which is the
We're not wholly there. We potentially are going to change that because I have been talking to other council members too. One other. I'll take all of your comments and I'll take a look at that. But let's get on with the topic that we're going to talk about tonight because it is changing some things up. What we are looking at, and I want to get your opinion of this. Part of it is because of the survey. Because zoning is going to affect survey. You know all of these little half circles at the end of all the streets?
Mm-hmm.
What we're looking at is because we have a big point of beginning and point of end plus 311 feet. That's a bad legal description. So what we're talking about now for the survey, because we could save $60,000 on the survey if we just square every one of those half moons, like over here where the sand pit's at. There's no reason for them to have a 311 half circle into their property because
When you change the shape, though, you're taking in property that is not in the town. So how can you?
just that half circle out of that whole sand pit, only the half circles in the town. So what we're looking at is
Are you talking about cutting it off or squaring it?
Just square it off at the point of ending,
Straight.
straight across,
Okay.
and get rid of it.
All right. See.
I calculated we have approximately 40 half circles in the town. And you do the math, we're only talking about somewhere between 105 and 110 acres that we would take out of the town.
So tell me how that makes us save the $60,000.
Every one of those half circles to be surveyed is $1,200 to $1,500 each.
Okay. So by us not having a curve, instead of where the curve would be, it's just a line, and through all of the 40 something we have, then that saves us $60,000 just on a survey
Just on
alone
the survey.
that can save the town.
And not only that, think about this, on a survey, if you have to survey that half moon, those stakes are out there in somebody's pasture. Now you've got to go make a measurement because of a house or something that might be touching that circle. Go find those stakes. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you're going to set stakes on property lines and right-of-way lines, not out in the middle of somebody's
So
pasture.
I don't know if you can tell me this or not, because
Mhm.
you may not want may not want to,
No,
whatever.
I'll tell you if I...
But you said you've talked to other council people
Why
about
not?
that. What
Yeah.
was their feedback on?
It was Terry said, yeah, let's cut them off.
Because it's going to save us
It's-
$60,000, and it makes
it's
it
kind of stupid.
a little less complicated for the map,
people.
correct?
Right.
Well, the only problem is it's the way it is now, it's part of the corporation. So
Right.
the corporation documents have.
But we
those
have a letter
curves.
from
Wait a minute.
TLC.
They have those curves, and so if we're gonna change that, then it's a legal question, does that violate the incorporation
No.
document? And that's Mr.
And
Burns.
we have an answer for that from TML. TML, well, here's the rule. You have to meet the square footage and the population for the classification at the time of incorporation.
Mhm.
Okay? After that, they know that a town is an ebb and flow.
Right, and that it's
And they
going to
say,
get
once you
added
qualify
to
and become incorporated, you can do whatever you want to with
it. You
those.
just have to update them with whatever,
Yeah.
like
And
cutting
then-
the edges and with the survey. Then that has to be updated with the state to go with the new updated version
Mhm.
of the town after corporation.
Right, but you're,
Okay.
a town is an ebb and flow after you're incorporated.
All right, I'm just making
Okay.
sure I
And this is,
understand all that.
and I gave it out at the council meeting last month, which was a letter from TML. So we can take those off. So again, I'm just simply asking,
What we think about that?
well, not necessarily think about it. I think the what if that kind of bothers me. The what if is if we go in there and cut that off, what do we do? Do we, to be fair, do we go and talk to the people that are in that half moon
Well, it's
before we cut them? Because we'll be
Okay.
taking potentially like this sand pit, we're potentially taking them completely
Wait
out
a
of the
minute,
town.
what's that got to do with zoning?
Well,
That's an
Well,
issue
well,
for the
well,
council.
well, let me explain it to you, okay? Because we need to look at that and write it in, and we are in the middle of getting proposals for a survey. But so, do we want to put in the scope of the work for a survey to take those out now in the scope? So it's the question, but to me, the question is, okay, are people going to be upset? Or are they going to like it? And that's
Because they're removed from the
Yes.
town and they're not subject to zoning and
yeah.
It's nothing to do with zoning, that's a council issue. And that's
But,
something that's on the agenda for next week.
Tom, because we're about to go out for bids on the survey.
It's in the council, and it's gonna be
And-
discussed in the council next
and
week.
we are going to talk about it. I'm talking about it. It's my issue.
But this is zoning, this isn't that.
But it would affect them.
Yes, it
It would
is.
affect those people, and so that's why he's talking about back in the beginning, like in the very beginning where we talk about our scope of work. Because if that's something that's considered, that would be something that's going to be edited in
Into
the scope of work in the zoning
Right.
ordinance.
That's all it is.
why
Those are ifs that have to occur after the council makes a decision.
No.
And that's a long ways
That's-
off.
But we're going to put it out to bid. Understand, we're spending $2,000 for an engineer to write us a scope. Okay?
So basically, that's why he's
And after that, it's
after
free.
the scope is just so the scope doesn't have to be rewrote is why
And
you're
rebid.
bringing that up. Okay,
Right.
and rebid it
That's
on because
again,
of wording
I'm
that's
not
got to be changed.
getting y'all to agree to it. I'm just simply asking the question of what are your thoughts about taking those out? I'm
Taking the
asking
church
for
out.
another opinion. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, I'll discuss it in the council meeting. That's
we
where it's gonna
will,
be
but we're
discussed.
not making the decision.
We're
But these
zoning
are
meeting, we're
citizens.
wasting time.
These are citizens, and I just feel like I'd like to have their opinion. That's
Well,
it.
they're gonna be able to discuss it in the council meeting.
Well,
They can get up and.
What
and
are
raise
your
the issue.
opinions? What would be the problem if we did that? Other than the only thing I can think of is if somebody wanted to stay in the town and they would be taken out because that would be squared off.
I mean, I would say that's there's two sides to that, and
Mhm.
there's one side of if you were going to get cut out and you're no longer in the town. So that would be something that you'd have to see what their opinion is. On the other hindsight, if we cut it out, then yes, now we've saved the city $60,000,
And
and it will determine the way the scope is wrote for the zoning ordinance.
mhm.
well, first of all, they may somebody's going to be all for not being restricted under zoning and all that.
Yeah.
But if you cut them out, and this is goes back to talking about council, then
Here's
they're
the
going to
other-
lose their ability to vote.
Here's the other option.
Which
We run across somebody that wants to stay in town. Then we would have the legal question becomes, if that's the point of ending, think about our legal description, a point
Plus
of beginning, point
311.
of ending, plus 311 feet. That's kind of goofy. As opposed to if he had somebody that didn't, then we may be, but we're not sure we can do it legally, square it off that way. Then we're
I see what you're
again,
saying. Square it off. So
then we're not
you,
paying for all that setup.
for example, like let's say you said there's 40 entrances
Mhm.
or
40 of those
40
half moon.
half moons. Let's say 36 of them are like fine,
Mhm.
whatever.
Check me out.
And then you got 4 that would want to stay. They want to stay in the town.
You need
Then,
to
like
do
you
that.
said, instead of the square being before the curbs, we would pay that 1,500 or whatever extra it is to square them off after the curb, so they could be in the town.
Or just square all of them off.
if
after
you're
the
squaring
curb?
them off after
Yeah.
the curb,
Then
Then
that's
you're
that's an
bringing
easy
more land.
survey.
well, and then that keeps everybody in the town.
It
I mean,
would-
because here's the deal. And be honest with you.
well, you would pick up this and this.
Well, yeah, you'd pick up a smidgen. But
Yeah,
here's the
smidgen.
deal. For people in this town that are pissed, irritated, whatever,
This is what I want to
if they don't want to be in the town because of all the
Mhm.
crap, then they're going to pay that $400 and something we have to pay to have ourselves removed. They'll do like all the other people. If you don't want to be in the town because of all the shenanigans, then pay to have yourself removed. I think it's honestly going to be better if you just square it off after the hump, because then nobody is being cut out. Everybody still
We're
has
adding a little
er-
more.
You're adding a smidgen more, but no matter what, everybody that's now in the town still has the right to vote, and then it makes the survey easier, and it's cheaper because it's a square and not a circle. No matter what, the smart money
Mhm.
for the city, money smart, is to square them after the hump. I know I'm not council.
Yeah, and
I'm just saying,
but you're right. But the only
I'm just saying,
problem
because
we
then
can see
nobody
with
gets
that,
chips out, and we still save $60,000
right? I
that
agree.
can go somewhere else that we need for the town.
Right. And that's kind of the issue. The only issue is still a legal issue, but we wanted to talk to people that we could talk to. We could talk to them
Well, here's
by
the deal.
doing that. But
What-
the illegal question is, can we add those two?
So
little-
first off,
Yeah.
before
add that in.
first thing that before you talk to anybody,
Mhm.
find out legally can we even do that? Because there
Right.
ain't no sense of talking and getting nobody's
And
hopes up
right
high.
now, it looks like we can, based
if-
on the TML attorney.
I'm just saying it. Just make sure legal. We're covered on that before we put that out there. But I think in the end, if it's legal, square them all after the hump and save the town $60,000. So council, y'all can figure out where else we could use that money or sock it away for
Yeah.
something else that may come up.
When it comes up Thursday, you can get up and make your points to the council. That's the appropriate place to say that.
I'm just getting an opinion, Tom. I'm not trying to make a decision.
But it's nothing to do with what this
Yes, it
meeting
does.
is about.
Yes,
This
it
meeting is zoning.
It is. It does have to do
Robin
with
can
zoning,
talk. You
because
can
the
talk.
zoning map is going to come from a survey. All right. Next question.
No,
Next
it
issue.
doesn't.
I got my answer. Square them off. And I was asking for an opinion. I got the opinion. You have a different opinion?
No.
Okay. What I've done this last couple weeks, I've gone through, and this is not anything official. This is not anything. It's just kind of more an estimate. I've driven the entire town, looked at the properties, because what we're hearing, everybody says, "I don't want zoning. I don't want all of these restrictions." That's all we hear. So what I've done, and I've kind of got some displays for you to show you. All right, under ag zoning,
Mhm.
I've gone through and I've estimated there's 177. Now, let me give this is based on an assumption that, which we talked about in council, based on the assumption that ag would start at 20 acres.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that last time. We threw
Okay.
20 out there because that's what it used to be for the state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just
That's kind
drilled
of
in the mind. Everybody thinks, oh, I've got to have a minimum of
Mhm.
20.
Well, it won't be in the town, it'll be in ETJ.
Which-
Very little of it'll be in the town.
I and I got that here. Let me
So
finish.
if it's outside
Let
the
me
town,
finish.
it doesn't matter. If it's 20 or 200, it doesn't matter.
But because of the way the town is laid out, we've got to be able. Let me just go through it. Because you're right. Most of the ag property, you're only going to have a piece in the town,
Right.
right? Okay. So under the ag, because what we've got to do is look at the population. How many people is this ag going to do? There's 177 property. I also went through under kind of the ranchette thing would be 19.99 all the way down to 4 to 5, right? Would be ranchette. And we're just calling it ranchette for now. 338 properties. 41.5% of the properties in town are what we right now calling it a ranchette.
You said 3 what? I'm sorry.
338 properties.
So this is, well, you'll know the answer because you've done all this research here. How many properties do we have total?
I came up with 815. There again, this is a drive-by look.
Right. No,
It's not.
that's fine. I was just curious how many.
I came up with 815. If you add all these numbers I have, that's what you'll come
and you
up
had
with.
177 that was ag.
177, which I was a little surprised of that we had that many. But again, we lowered it to 20 acres, so it kind of sounds. Because I mean, you got some ag that are hundreds of acres.
Yours is not ag, correct?
No,
Tom, is yours?
no.
No, because I've got 2.5 acres in the town, 2.5 acres in the ETJ. I've got 5 acres,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not in the, only half of it's in the town, roughly.
Okay. Are you ag too?
I know. I mean, I have about 2 in town in the way it's shaped, and another 6 out of.
So he would be ranchette.
What about you back there?
I've
Ranchette.
been ag since I moved to this place in
Okay.
32 years.
Yeah. So he would. What do you have? About 12 acres.
I had 18 and a half when we first moved.
With
till
now.
I sold my neighbor. I
Okay.
got 12 and a half.
12 and a half acres. All right. So
Okay.
now, so let me
So-
finish it.
Most people, that makes sense though. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't really have ag. Most people don't have that 20 plus.
Okay. All right. So by far the largest group of property owners would fall into this ranchette category.
Which is
19.99 down to 5.
9, 2.
Then you have what I call the less than 5 acre. The next group. So less than 5 would be less than 5, 4.99 down to 1 acre. Or 1 point, whatever it be. You know, something greater than 5. 5, you know. There's 259 of them. They represent 31.8% of the 815 properties. Okay? So what we're looking at, 338, 41 and a half, 31.8, and 21. These are our 3 largest groups. To satisfy everybody, given our unusual shape in the town, I think, just hear me out. If we focus on these groups and how to best satisfy all of the primary groups. Now, after this, you get down to the less than 1 acre, it's like maybe 2%. And the other, which would be commercial, churches,
And
cemeteries, all of that
business.
type of stuff falls in around 2% too. Okay, so we're not talking, those next two groups are very small
Well,
groups.
very small.
Okay, so if we look at it this way, if we take an ag tract, and there are various different widths. Here, the example here, this red line is the town. That's where the city limits.
The 311 is.
311 from the center of the road.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, but what I used on my illustration is a 50-foot right of way, which is pretty much the primary
Which is
width
the
of a right of way.
standard.
So I took 25 feet off. That's how I got to from here to here, or your property line,
Mm-hmm.
to this point in the town is 286 feet. So in every one of these, that line, you're looking at 286 feet. But if it's 60-foot right away, you're only talking about 281 feet.
Right. Depends on
By
depends on the width of the right of way,
Right.
on which street you're on,
by
what
far,
it is.
the mass majority of our streets are 50-foot right of ways. Okay? So, in the ag, this is just one example, and the other one didn't show that. So let's assume that the house is in there.
Partial. Part of the house.
Part
is
of the
in there.
house. Well, what Kaufman is saying, if part of your house is,
Then
it's
the
all
house, then it's considered all in. Okay.
another big mess, because now you're
Well,
Okay.
yeah, because now, I mean, like you said, and that's something that the town has absolutely no control
No
over at that
control.
point, because it's a county thing.
Mhm.
And so, unfortunately, you got a quarter of the house in, instead of taking a quarter value of what the house and that little part of land is. You have to do that little part of land and the whole house value, because like
Mhm.
in Kaufman, it touches. Is it the same way for Hunt?
We don't
Hunt-
really know what Hunt says.
They won't.
They don't have an answer to it yet.
But wait a minute, wait a minute. The property values, the way they do it for taxes, Hunt and Kaufman, it doesn't have anything to do with the town limits.
Right.
It's strictly the property. So 100% of the house is taxed, and
Right,
part of
correct.
the land that's not
Correct.
exempt from
Correct.
ag.
The only difference is Kaufman County has drawn this line, and they are either putting the house here or in this one. In Kaufman County, you now have two parcel numbers,
Correct. And I do know that
and you add them together, and that's your. It's just question is what they're doing is putting the house on one side. Again, it's not our decision. I'm just telling you how they're working. What Kaufman County is throwing, if the house, a little bit of the house is in town, they're throwing all the house in town.
So,
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Kaufman
because you're
doesn't
still
get
paying
into our
this.
town business.
I know that. It's not. That's not
What
bogged
they
down
do
in the way
the
they're
town
doing.
of Kaufman, that's not our business.
I know that. It doesn't matter. You're still getting taxed on the entire property in the county. It doesn't
That's
matter.
right.
It
And
doesn't
so
matter.
It doesn't matter what the division
Right.
is.
It's so you're bogging down. All right. Let me just finish it. So, what I propose is, what if, and to make we're talking about simplifying everything. Let's just look. Okay, in ag, right now, our minimum setback is 5 feet. And this tract of land, if this is the property line and the property line, that from that red line to the black line is 5 feet.
I'm aware. I've got a house that's built right up on the property line on our first quarter of our property,
Okay.
which
And that means
didn't
your
pertain to
neighbor-
them, but
Your neighbor, in theory, could be 5 feet from that black line on the other side. 10 feet. Touch my hand. That's 10 feet in your other hand. That's 10 feet in poetry. I don't know why they did it that way. So let's look at it this. Because setbacks both protect you and your neighbors. That's why we have setbacks, to protect the privacy. What if your house is right there, and you had your neighbor had an air conditioner unit there, right outside your bedroom window, 8 feet away? That makes no sense in poetry. So, what I'm looking at doing, let's look at this. If this is a tract of ag land, the black line. Let's establish a side setback for ag land and establish a front setback from here to here.
Which is normally, well, it's normally 25 feet is the normal front setback.
Yeah, in towns. Out here, if you look at PDs,
There are deed restrictions where
deed restrictions, what you're generally seeing, the setbacks are actually about 75 feet, even
Oh, okay.
on some 2-acre lots, where I think our zoning is 60, I think. It's in one of the charts.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
In the back, towards the end. All right. So, if we want to try to simplify
No,
things,
75 from center line.
I'm sorry, from center line.
Yeah.
How far?
75 feet.
75. So take 25 off. Here's
So
50
50
foot
feet.
setback. Okay. So, and I don't really care what it is. The conversation is this. If we look at it, this is how you explain it to the people, and believe me, this is going to be so much easier. We establish a new setback, side setback, that's realistic, and a front setback, this part here. Then what we create is an envelope in ag. This is, in a sense, this is your building envelope. You could do anything in the town that's ag related under ag zoning, and you keep on living your life the way you're living it now.
But all that applies up to this point right here.
That's up, but yeah, in the town,
Yeah.
correct.
But he's
But
talking
then we
about
move right
Once
over
you do
here.
anything over here, it's out of our,
Yeah.
it's none of our business.
It's limited
Because it's in
scope
the
as to
ETJ.
what it'll
So really, in a sense,
solve.
you're exactly right. All we care about is that right there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
Well, not really, because a lot of us, our land goes to the center line of the road.
Well,
So
and
when we do the,
I've adjusted to
that's
that.
the issue of the gross versus net acre. The acre definition, it starts at the center line of the road for
Mhm.
some of us.
Which we don't have right now without a survey. So,
Wait a minute, that's not, it's in the definition of acre.
I
See,
understand.
right now, what's in here is net,
Net.
which takes that away.
Well, look at the
which we
look at the
propose
definition.
Is to make it gross so that you take in the center line of the road if it's appropriate, and then that way you don't get into all this other issues of is it 1 acre or not.
No. Well, we have, again, we have a legal opinion. We had a case where, and a prescribed right of way is part of, they own the right of way. It's basically a prescribed right of way easement across their property. Technically, they still own it. And what we decided to, on that people, because it was a deal, they had 2 acres. Okay? Their property line was really out on the center of the road, or out there in the road, not center necessarily, but in the road. And so the argument was, which we got Berman's opinion of it, was that if it's in their legal description, it is an easement. They own the land that's encumbered by an easement. Just like your utility. You own the land, you can graze cows, you can do whatever you can do in that easement because it's your land. It's just the power company or whoever has the right to access that space
Right.
to provide their service. Okay? So, that's why if you read the definition in here and you look at gross versus net,
Definition of acre?
the gross net issue. The gross net issue is when you have something, let's say you have a drainage canal. You don't, and you don't own the drainage canal. Then that's not yours. You have to own it. But if you took that drainage canal out, the area of that, you can't include that in your acreage. if it's something that's owned outside of yours, and that if you get back and study the definition of gross net and understand where a lot of that comes from on right-of-ways is because most towns, normal towns that have square rectangle towns, on some of those edge roads, because usually they'll run down a road, down the center line of the road, and one half of the road is in town, the other side is not. That's where they draw the line. And that's where a lot of that comes from. In our case, we own most of the time, we own land on both sides of the road. So you start getting into that gross net and it creates problems. That's all I'm saying. Where with the survey, the intent there with the survey, what we're going to do, we're going to establish those property lines out here. And we're going to have that because that we could, if we find the center line of the road, in 2 months you still can't find the center line of the road. You won't be able to find the stakes. You can't. But if you put a stake on a property line with fences and put that stake right there, I could go right now. I've been out there 34 years, and I can find the pins on my 4 corners. Okay? Because they're in the fence row. So, and that's part of the problem with our survey, because 2 months later, you won't be able to find the property lines of the town. They're going to drive a stake in an asphalt road. And I'm telling you, I've already dealt with this. You can't find them. So it's a useless measurement in many ways for poultry because of our unique property lines, our unique design. Okay, so what are the questions we want to look at for ag? What would be a reasonable side setback for ag? 20 feet? 30 feet?
I mean, it's not going to change what's already done at my house, but I would have appreciated to at least have. I mean, I know then again, it's still telling your neighbor what they can and can't do. And it may not bother them that they're right up on the dang property line.
But does it bother you?
Well, yeah, my husband got tired of seeing all their junk.
setbacks
So
are
what did he
designed to
do? He put both sides. We have now it's a half a mile, but it's a quarter. He paid, I don't know how much money, and did a solid privacy fence on both sides of that first quarter of our property. And the people that lived over here, when he got to this side, the little boy came up, which I say little boy, he's teenager, whatever. And he told my husband, "Why are you doing that?" He's like, "The deer can't get through now and I can't see them." And he says, "Because I'm tired of looking at you. I don't want to see that every day I come home. I've worked hard on my property. This is what,
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. Neighbors can do whatever. But like I said, we've got on both sides. This one had been here forever. But the newer one, I mean, it's literally right on the other side of that picket fence. And so it would just be nice to have a little space because these people have dogs that they keep pinned up. So when our dogs go to the front, what do? They go up here because there's not a setback.
Mm-hmm.
They want to fight under the fence. If you had that space, then they wouldn't even know or try,
Yeah.
It just would give a little more peace.
And that's what we're at, because that's what the citizens are saying. So,
I don't know how else.
Let's say 20 feet. What if you do 20 feet? Look at your other zoning classifications. If you're saying, for example, ranchette, are you going to hold it at 20 feet as well? And you take that ag property and you put a lesser zoning beside it, a smaller, then you're still going to bring it tighter into that.
But your point is you can still put your fence right up against your property line.
Well,
It's nothing to do with the setback.
Yeah.
Well,
Setback is
and-
you can't build in a setback.
can't build in is what I'm talking about.
Right. Your fence can go right up to the property line.
Mhm.
Well, it's on my side of the property line. But
Right.
yes, but I'm talking about these people have their homes literally with their. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just
And
saying.
that's what people we moved to
Well-
the country to be
But that's
leave me
grandfathered.
alone.
But if that's
Oh, I
before
know
January
that. I'm just saying,
2024,
for anybody else that bought property, came out here and bought property today, thinking, oh, I have this nice property. There's nothing built on the other sides of my property. And then Billy Joe comes in 6 months later, buys this, and you've spent all this money making the front of your property beautiful and landscaped this and pond this or what it could win the yard of the year because of what you put in it. And then you've got this nuisance that moved in and built their didn't build nothing, hauled something in that was half and puts it right up against your beautiful wrought iron.
right, well, now
Fence.
the zoning has restrictions against that. Our current zoning.
This
It's
fence.
5.
It's just 5
For
feet.
somebody that's bringing in a new place,
Right.
not an old one, those that are
Fence.
before
We have a
24.
fence. And we'll talk
We have
about
we
that.
have a fence setback.
Yeah,
We don't have a home
setback.
setback.
5 feet.
5 feet. That's what it,
5 feet is the setback?
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't
But
want
that's in the current zoning.
The current zone.
I'm just saying, if nothing changed, and he came in and bought property and spruced it up, and it's beautiful. 6 months later, this isn't going to be finished in 6 months. And Billy Joe buys the property next to him and hauls in whatever he thinks he's going to live in. The only setback he has to meet is 5.
So in your case, you're talking about, is this house that's built on up against the fence? Which side of the town line is it on?
It's not in the town because it sits back far enough.
So it's moot point. This conversation shouldn't even happen.
But he gets classified as a legal non-conforming use,
Yeah.
right?
Well, even if it's
He's not in the
something
town. How
Well, because he's grandfathered in, okay?
because of
But
the date.
according to zoning, according to our zoning, he is a legal. Well, how does he become legal? Because he grandfathered in, but it's non-conforming to our ordinance.
Well, I'm just talking about anybody. Let's
Yeah.
say someone that
Yeah.
doesn't have 34 acres like me,
Mhm.
and you've got 2.5, and you've got your house, and you have the front, you have your property looking like your ideal picture of what you would love your retirement property and home to look like, what you've busted your butt for years, and now you have what you want. And this new people come in and build their house, or it could build a house, whatever, but literally 5 feet from your.
Mhm.
You don't want to look at that every day as a.
say if you do a bigger setback on the front, are you applying that to just residences or ag structures or everything?
Well, yeah, in the setback, technically the front setback is nothing can be built in there
Correct,
but
correct.
landscaping.
And we can use your property, for example, your running sheds on the front side.
Mhm.
We start extending, increasing that front setback. If you were moving in today and building that, I bet some of those would fall. Do you think there's anything wrong with the way your place is built?
Well, there wasn't any zoning when we bought it.
No, but do you drive by and think that looks terrible, that looks bad, and all that? It doesn't.
No.
It's
So we moved out there to breed horses,
right.
and we needed those sheds for the mares.
But this would also affect properties like yours if they were
Yeah.
built today.
Well, I mean, it's,
Well, he said if they were built today.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change with.
Yeah.
I'm just
'Cause he's got a
saying
grandfather clause.
Yeah.
and it may not bother y'all because you are, but I'm just saying when you have property that you've spent a lot of time on, a lot of people come out here, this is what their retirement they want it to be, or they spruced it up for this is where I'm going to have my last days, may it be 40 or something years, but you bust your butt to keep it amazing.
I agree on the 5. The 5 is
The 5
minimal,
is a little under.
but is 20 a 20-foot buffer or a total of 40 from side to side if it's 2.
All right, but now let's take an ag property, 20 acres. Okay, generally that's from what I've gathered. Generally, we're talking 500, 600 feet wide, minimum. I mean, that's a small ag. Let's call it a 20-acre site. It would qualify for ag if we stay with the 20-acre thing. Generally, you're going to have 500-600 feet of frontage on 20 acres of ag. That is a general rule. Not always. There's always going to be exceptions. And if there's much larger tracts, you're going to have, 1,000 feet. You get on a corner, you're going to have ag on both sides, front and
Our
side.
guy down our street has.
Okay, so if again we go back and we look at ag, okay, what would be, and I think what we have to do is look at a different setback. Let's say we get to ranchette. Our small ranchettes are probably a little under 300 feet wide. Okay, as a general rule, you're going to have some exceptions always, of course. 5 acres, you're probably down around 200 feet of frontage. So you don't want to do a 50-foot setback on everybody because this guy can't do anything but a mobile home.
Yeah.
So look at it for that sense. We go from ag, what is an acceptable setback? Is it 50 feet? Is it 30 feet? Then you go to ranchette. What's an
Which is
acceptable?
going to be smaller, and then
Smaller, so they
your
should.
little people are going to be even
Mhm,
smaller.
smaller. So the question then becomes is if we took care of our ag people, the 177 of them, plus or minus, and let's also take care of our big population, which is the ranchette now. Something up to 19.99 acres. And then, of course, the 5 that we set, as opposed to one size fits all, come up, give the ag guys a little more space and give us a little more space. Because again, an ag is great, but at some point, that ag guy's lining up his hay baler and his tractors and his trailers and his stock trailers. And how close do you want that to your property?
Well, you can park. Well, as long as there's not a permanent structure, you can park anywhere you want.
Wherever he wants. But if
But
we have
I get what you're saying though. Also about
if
that
you
is,
built a shed,
I
you want
mean,
it 5 feet off your property line,
Uh-huh.
then he installs lights, security lights.
I'm sure we probably don't even have anything in here about we might
Well, you don't
about
yet.
the glare.
So
But
Really?
yeah,
the idea here is if we want to try to simplify this whole zoning method, and in our zoning we have, but you can do a school, you can do a church, you can do all these other things in ag zoning. We say no. What most towns do, ag zoning, and just hear me out, ag zoning, in that envelope, you can do anything related to ag or residential, right? Okay. So, but if you do anything, you split something off, you sell off a piece, anything like that, you automatically have to come to the town for rezoning if you subdivide it in any way. So what it allows the ag people to do, go live your life, do your thing, and you really only have to pay attention to that. We give your neighbors and you a little space on the setback, and you get to live your life. And it's not going to change hardly anybody. There's going to be a few exceptions, but there's always going to be a few for everything. And so ag is ag. If you decide to do anything other than ag-related or residential home, or if you split it off, then you have to come to the council, either through a variance or through a rezoning. Same thing. And so in ag, what can you do? You can do anything in ag you want. Maintain all of the, animal loads and all of that. You get to do exactly what you've been doing all your life. Same thing. What is a ranchette? A ranchette is someone who's recently moved in the last 30 years that wants a country life, wants to have animals. So technically what we would design ranchette to do, you can do your agricultural use. You have the same rights agriculturally as the ag people to do whatever you want to do. Raise your dogs, raise your horses, raise your goats, whatever. But we set those setbacks. You go on with your life and do your deal. And then in a way, the 5 acres, you don't have, I'm surprised that the less than 5 acres, when you start getting down there to 2 acres, you when you drive around, you almost don't see animals. They're doing that for they came out here for some other reason, and it wasn't animals. Because you start driving around, you look, well, where's the barn? There's no barn. There's no, I mean, maybe you'll see a dog pen. So from the citizens, let's back up, look at it from the citizens' point of view. Is this not a more restrictor, simpler way to look at it? Let's first look at the people, which we've done with the numbers. It's not an exact science yet, but we look at the populations. How can we satisfy 21%, 42%, 18% of the people, or 31% of the people? If we look at it from that standpoint, put people in those categories, are we not better off satisfying more people by keeping it simple but stricter, in a sense, without having all the but if things that we have in the zoning ordinance now? Everybody gets to live the life they want. You just keep it within this building area. You keep it within the setbacks, and you go on with your life. In every case. Now, you get down in that 1 acre or less, it's a mess. But you still, they were here too. When we were here, we incorporated, we got to protect their rights also. So I'm just a thought is if we simplify it, but make it, tighten it up. Because quite honestly, when you run this through, I know it's a dirty word. When you run this ordinance through AI, it blows up.
Oh, yeah, I've already done that once.
You have? And so,
hot mess.
yeah, it's a mess. So if we tighten it up, before the idea was let's keep it simple and loose. Simple and loose is we're going to be eaten up by developers. As opposed, because there's so many loopholes, and they go through every one of these and they determine a risk factor. And there's so much high risk in that ordinance. We've got to fix it. So I'm just thinking, if we back off and what we didn't do, let's look at the people. Why are they here? What are they trying to do? And that's a pretty simple, of course we have the subdivision. We got that kind of covered. We have the less than 1 acre. We got those people covered, but they're closed zonings. In other words, you can't add another less than an acre lot. It's just there to grandfather those people in. That's all it's there for. That's why we put in the language that it's closed. All right.
So to simplify the rest of them, then all we do is write ag and the other to follow: single family dwelling use, farming, and ranching. And you're done.
And we're done. And with simple, not only that, the problem that we're having now with council, with our budget, is we have all these ordinances we can't enforce.
Well, I know that we have it in here just for future council, but unfortunately, I don't see this.
But if we take this to the citizens and they say this is a better plan.
No. What I was going to say, I know we wrote it in here so we would have something to refer to, but in here about the violations, what the penalties are, y'all aren't going to have it. I'm going to be on. Y'all ain't going to have nobody to enforce that for 5 years at least.
Exactly. So for now, and I agree with you. And obviously with our budget, we're years away from that. And we're getting to a point where we're getting all these questions. And Tom, you'll agree. What you and I and Mike are doing is taking more time than we realized.
Oh yeah,
Because
this
you
is,
got to go do the research. I
Yeah.
got to go find the deed restrictions. I got to go look at their CAD file and then try to figure it all out. Do all the measurements. Then you got to get with the health department on the septics when you're dealing with small lots. All of that work, which we have a fiduciary responsibility to do that. But at some point, it's going to take a full time or
Well-
start off a part time person and then go to full time.
well, I mean, that's the thing, and that's nothing they expressed to y'all. I mean, I think that's why my husband said from the very get go 4 years ago, you will never run for council. It's a full time job.
full-time
He says
job.
you have no time. You have your full time job. You work overtime. We have the land and the dogs. Now come to the
Mhm.
council meetings. He's like, no,
Yeah, you need to
do
be
not even
retired.
ask.
Yeah,
So yeah, y'all have full time jobs even though y'all retired. I mean, that's why you retired, so you
That's
could
why
do this as
the-
a full time job. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot, and people, citizens, they do not realize or understand that y'all work on things, look at things, research things, attend meetings. It's a full time job during the week.
Mhm.
It's not just, oh, we have share a few emails and a few phone calls. It's
Mhm.
not like that at all. Y'all all, and so I mean, like Terry and Tracy, that they work full time.
yeah.
I mean, and then they have families, and
Yeah.
so it's a
Oh,
lot.
if you were on council with kids, I don't know how you do it. And a job, you couldn't do it. So back to this: if we make these classifications, keep them simple but tight in ag, just like all the other towns, and I'm sure your town still has some ag property.
We still have a few, not many. but
Still
we
a few.
have a few.
And that's it. And if it's zoned ag, it's zoned ag. You try to do anything other than ag, you got to come in.
Well, hold on, because I
Okay.
just learned about it. Well, I'm going to do me some research. I was in class today in Dallas, and the end of our code class, legal came in, and I'm going to, like I said, I've got my Pocket AI, so it recorded it all. There is a new House bill.
I want to
and
talk to you about that after the
There
meeting.
is a new House bill that has recently passed that has to do about agricultural.
Okay.
And pretty much, like I said, I need to double check, verify, so don't hold me to the cross on
If you
this.
find the number, let me know.
Yeah, and it's going to be on my recorder. So it's something about the way now it's done. They've kind of flipped the script where, so you have your state law and then cities have theirs. But this new law is like, you can't tell nobody what they can do.
You being the state, or
Us being the city,
okay, can't tell
because
them.
of this new state law,
Okay.
because you can grow flowers
Mhm.
and be considered
Ag.
ag. They
Bees.
broadened it so.
You mean for the ag exemption?
I don't know about the exemption to be classified as ag, like through
Zoned
cities.
for ag.
So meaning that it's going to restrict cities, like big cities, now saying, oh, that doesn't qualify as ag. We're basically not going to have the ability to say you're not ag unless you've got it's what you're doing as ag, unless it's a hazard to like bombs, or they even gave the example of if you have something that you're growing or it spilled or whatever and caused a virus. I wanted to say like China, but they're putting it so broad like that, unless your agricultural that you're calling can cause a harm like that, then as a city, we cannot regulate and tell you can't be agricultural. So I want to get the more clear deals, because
Is it a bill that is passed, or is it
it's passed.
passed?
It's very
But-
recently passed.
But none of this is restricting agricultural activity, and even when you get into the lesser zonings, it's still going to allow agricultural activity.
Yeah.
Whether you have ag zoning or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Ag is just a classification for large properties.
Right. But
Basically.
what most cities do with ag is anything that you do outside of ag requires rezoning.
Subdividing, adding,
Subdividing, rezoning, all of that. Or if you took an ag property and started a mobile home park. No.
Correct.
It's got to be ag. And a lot of that is going to be the definition we write. That's how you tighten it up, is in the definition. And it won't be a 2-sentence definition. But if you let the ag people, you stay within this envelope as we set the setbacks, knock yourself out. And you get beyond this red line, knock yourself out. Don't even call us. Simplification, but tough. And then the same thing, ranchette, you're out here for ag, probably 90% of the, I think out of the 338, I think I saw possibly 41 or 42, what I called less than 20, greater than 5 properties that were actually vacant. That's not very many. So, ranchette guys, you get to do everything these guys do, because that's why you moved out here. But you got a little different side setbacks, front setbacks, and things like that. Same thing with the 5-acre guys. You're able to raise horses on 5 acres. Part of it about grandfathered in, but the same thing. But this orange line is drawn solid orange because maybe it's 10 feet, maybe it's 15. Then this is maybe 20. And
I'm
then
thinking
ag is
50,
30
30,
or
20.
40.
I'm thinking 50, 30, and 20.
50, 30, 20.
Yeah.
Would the small people be able to handle 20?
I
Would they
think
have
so.
enough? I mean,
All
I
right,
was.
all right, here we go. As a general rule, they're 200 feet wide. So if you take 40 off of that, so now you're 160 foot building envelope. 160 feet. A city lot, what are they usually now?
A
Well,
lot.
now they're down to anywhere from 40 to 60 wide
So
with
100
5-foot setbacks.
Yeah, so you took 40 off, 160, 5 acres, that would be one big house if it was more than 160 feet wide.
Yeah.
That's a wide house.
Yeah.
So are you going to take the zoning ordinance and rewrite an alternative words, not just talk, words that we can then read and look at and then pass on to Mr. Brown?
And we're just,
Then that's what you need to do.
okay, well, that's why we're talking. I mean, but if y'all disagree with that, I don't want to waste my time. We are still the committee. And understand if that, and this is something we're going to be talking about
Look.
next Thursday.
Look, I didn't like zoning at all.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for this.
Mhm.
I'm not in favor of any zoning.
Mhm.
However, I understand why we had to do it.
Right,
It's 'cause
and I
of the
still
lawsuit.
understand it.
No, it was because of the lawsuit
Yeah.
that demanded that we have a zoning ordinance, of which I didn't vote for. So I don't like it. A lot of it I don't like.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you want to write that down so we have something to look at and read, then I'm happy to read it.
Okay,
I'm not against
but-
it.
but
I
just wanna-
I don't like any zoning, but on the other hand, if you got a better alternative,
Right.
it needs
And that's
to
all
write
my
it.
thought, and that's my question to you tonight is that sound like something that might be worth taking a deeper look?
Gotta read.
Right.
Gotta be read.
And if you say you want a deeper look, I'll write it. But if you say no way in hell I'm interested in that, I'm not going to waste my time writing.
Well, that's essentially what we've been talking about since we've started. A simplified version of all this.
Simplify
And
the
ag,
part,
this
but-
conversation about ag and leaving people in ag and not messing with them, we've talked to that probably the last 2 or 3 meetings.
Well, the problem with zoning still always comes back to our map. You know, if we were a normal size rectangular square town,
Mhm.
the zoning would be something easier to apply, but we're not. And
Mhm.
as a result, the way we're designed is that I don't like any of the zoning. On the other hand, if you can write it out, I'm happy to read it. And if you want to present it to the council, well,
Right.
that's fine.
And then visualize that map. Just visualize that. You know, most towns have districts, right?
Right. And,
You have
and honestly,
residential, multifamily,
Well,
commercial.
either way, so, and that's also the difference between our town and a city for when you have your map and it's divided in districts, because then out of each district is technically a council person for that specific
Bingo.
district, and we will never have that because of how
Well, we're at large.
Crazy that is.
Yeah, but I mean, City of Dallas didn't go to that until for years. Now they were at large for years, which was one of the issues. Or we're all at large, and there's no way we're going to be dividing up.
Yeah.
So try to envision this, and I only talk about Grande Verde because I live there and I understand the different size lots. So Grande Verde is all of these streets and this street. With the exception of this road, you get into some less than 5s. Okay, not a lot. So in essence, what you would end up having, this zoning, this would be all one color. It would be a district instead of just, you know, right now, if you really went out and zoned all of our properties, it would be look like a bag of Skittles. You know, there would be so many colors. But by being able to do that, you look at that, you could have this solid color, that's a district. Then you could have, even though it's smaller lots, but it's still the same kind of use. It's not, you know, it's not mobile homes and houses, it's still homes, it's just the land size changes. And then when you get back, all back in here, kind of the same thing. This would be almost solid, all of this,
As another.
less than
Dish.
5.
Yeah.
Okay? And you would have some little pockets back in here of less than 2 or less than 1 acre and less. So then back, you know, when you get back in here, you're going to get a lot of ag. Again, we can draw these districts. We'll have far easier to draw districts by doing that. Instead of trying to nitpicky the size, let's keep it general and create the districts. And then same thing here, you know, that would be, most of that's going to be less than 5. So that whole piece would be one color. All of this on both sides, ag for the most part. Now you do get into right in here, you got a couple small houses, but for the most
You could
part,
still
that's
have all
ag.
that one.
Yeah, this would pretty much all be ag, and you really all into here, up into, you know, return, you know, right here on the corner, you got a couple of offies, you know. This would be all one color. Now, golden meadow, what is green meadow road. You got a lot of the big ag here, and then, but most of this would pretty much be, probably most of this is going to be less than 5 acres. Until you get, then you're going to get a big ag. What's his name? Hey, guys, turn. Yeah, all of his land, then that would be ag. Out here where you're at, you know, most
24.
of this would look like ag. Most, you know,
All of that going up is
Yeah.
going to be
All
us
of
and
this.
ag.
pretty bad.
To
All
the
of
right.
this would go ag, right? And now here we'd have a big chunk of ag, and then probably some less than 5s on Terry's Road. When you think those right there would be less than 5, that's what it looks like to me. But then you take Holly and 20, these two roads, all of this would probably be ranchette or ag. Out here, you got a lot of ag here, back here, a lot of ag on your side, back in here. But then you're going to have pretty much all ranchette. And this would pretty much be ranchette. Now there may be some less than 5. I think these 2 corners are like 7 acres, which would fall into ranchette. And then some of the back here in the back, would be ranchette. But still, it'd be a little odd, but it would still be fairly conforming. And we create districts that way. If we, again, trying to step back, looking at it from a different approach, what do the people want? What are they trying to do? How can we make this zoning map look, and create the districts, which towns are more accustomed to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, but ours would be different. I mean, even if we had
It's always going to be
districts.
different.
Yeah, I mean, but ours would be different if we had districts because, you know, you have people that live in that district that's running for that district. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work here. It would be like,
Yeah, it wouldn't
okay,
work
there's
here.
6 of y'all. If we had 6 districts, you would just take you would assign whoever to that district number because we are small, you know, because we are a small town. That's how that would work. It may be easier in the long run to have districts later, but that's how they would have to be assigned. We would never be able
Right.
to
But right now, we don't
do
need
them
this.
like.
But 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, if we started with this now, then we'd kind of have districts. We'd have a lot of it already done. But right now, I'm not sure. I think the at-large, we're far better off serving all of the people right now
Yeah.
than a district. But 20 years from now, we may need districts. Things could change. Big
I mean,
developers come out.
Honestly, and I guess because I just think in a way of our town staying the way it is, or we hope it stays the way it is. I mean, if it does, then once again, our town still won't provide any services. I mean, so
But right now, we got to put our blinders on.
I don't know what the town would be serviced with at this point. I mean,
Those are some hurdles, big hurdles, high hurdles
and
that the town would have to eventually get over. And I agree, it's not going to be an easy task.
yeah, and it definitely won't be anytime soon. But
And it won't be anytime soon.
I mean, even before I moved out here with my husband, I mean, my cousins moved out here, I think, when I was like in the 6th grade, and they used to live on Greenwood in town, and I was with them all the time. And I mean, I just remember this town is exactly, besides we don't have the little mom and pop food.
Oh.
When we used to be able to come in here and get burritos and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah. I mean, other than that,
Yeah.
this town is the same. I always remember the water tower that's not really the town's, and coming all the way down here past I mean, honestly, besides this front little addition, that church was there when I was out here.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's still.
Well, probably both of them.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it's just still the same. And that's been over 30 something years. So I just don't, if it's that, I don't foresee anything else really changing, at least in the next. I mean, I know things do change and they go fast, but I don't see anything major happening out here for at least 20 something years.
Well, and developers, they don't just get a whim and start building. They plan way into the future.
Well, and like I said, since we don't provide anything, it makes it harder.
They'll set up a mud. It doesn't matter. They'll handle
Bishop
that.
Field may be 10 years before you see a house.
It could be, and if another large landowner sells, yes, a developer may jump on it, but they're going to land bank it and then figure it out later. So it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So in the time that we live here, yeah, we may not have development like we're talking about or worried about, but 10, 15 years, beyond 10, 15 years, I think it's very likely, extremely likely, at least to have a larger master plan development. Like, look at Forney, how small Forney was back in let's go to 95, 96.
95, I started high school over there, and it was.
And it was small. You had Brookshire's, you had a couple of restaurants, and that was it. Red Whale was building all the commercial buildings before he sold them. Then Windmill Farms came along. What was their biggest problem? Water. They had a hard time getting water. Nobody provided water for any wouldn't. They built wells. It was a mess. They were supposed to build a golf course. And now it's just nothing, not nothing, but it's mostly rentals. And Forney has followed that trend. But still, they have more expensive neighborhoods too.
Yeah, but they
But all that planning started you know, we're talking about Windmill Farms when it started. It was in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But all the planning that has happened in the works, that happened years and years, 10, 15 plus
Well, they
years
didn't
ago.
plan well for traffic when they were doing all that.
No, the state's always behind on all that.
Well, I'm talking about roads in town.
We're talking about 548.
But this is another issue. And that's the elephant in the room, you know, because we've got, lack of another word, a better word, legacy families, the ag families, been here 150 years.
Yeah.
And you got all of us newbies coming in, I mean, for the ranchette. And then you still had a little, most of that's been kind of newbies too, but came in about the same time. By going and zoning ag and saying ag is ag, you can't do anything else but ag. Who are the developers going to look at? They're looking at ag. They're not looking at me and you.
No.
For they can't make the numbers work on 30 acres of housing
No, they don't go rush
on
into
septic. It won't work. They have to have enough to do a mud, to do a plant, so they can build the small lots. There's where the numbers are. So developers, what are they going to be looking at? They're going to be eyeing ag.
No,
Quite
we're
honestly.
looking at ETJ.
Right, if it's in the ETJ, correct. They're going to be looking
You
at
can't
that.
build in the town, it's not enough.
I know.
The
Right.
way we're designed,
So,
it has to be an ETJ.
correct. So, understand by zoning this as ag and you can't do anything but ag, we get to look at every deal the developers come in with because you can't change that.
Can't change the front, and we have
Can't
to know
change the
what
front.
you're going to do with it because of what's in the
So,
front.
exactly. So, the idea behind it is we've got to come up with a legalized version definition, okay, of mother truck. Think about it. If we said we're only using the mother truck to determine the use of the portion in the town, we're not doing anything to it. We're not restricting it. We can't. It's just helping us to keep it consistent. We're just using the mother track. We're going ahead and giving, if that is ag, that frontage in the town is ag, so it stays consistent. But by giving it ag, and you can do nothing but ag, the developer, when they come in and buy this, they've got to come to us for this. Because it can't, whatever they're doing is not ag. But it's all about the definition. And so, you know, we look at our zoning map before. What do we do to protect ourselves from developers? Nothing. This way, at least they have to come talk to us first.
Well, and by them at least doing that, then you know, not that it matters, but it doesn't matter. At least then you know like what they're planning to do with the land and what's going to be developed. At least the town at that point just has knowledgement as to what's going in and all that. Because
And that's
let's
why
say
you
for
can cut a deal with them.
let's say for example, like I get it, we can't do anything if it's in the ETJ. But like, let's just say, for example, these developers come in, they buy this, and they want to put something extravagant on that property. And the two people beside them are not ag, they're ranchettes. You know, if it was something, not that we would, but just as an example, let's say that developers want to come in and they want to put one of the minor data centers in there. Those aren't the buzzing ones, those are the major, but the minors. And they wanted to put it so far back. I get we have no say so, but us having the acknowledgement of what possibly is going to go in there, then we can say, oh, whoa,
Yep.
Hold them up. We need to have a public hearing. We need to let everyone know within those so many yards, especially your neighbors, what you're thinking about putting in there so that the citizens have their voice to be heard.
And the county commissioner to get involved, had to get
Right.
involved.
Well,
So-
look
the
at this.
problem, just like Bishop Field, is even though you can go in there and say that, the TCEQ is grants them the right to go ahead.
I know, but
The
it still gives your citizens of the town knowledge what is fixing to be brought in or what's fixing to be built next to them. They may not be able to necessarily control it, but they have the acknowledgement. It helps them reevaluate what they may or may not want to do. Do we want to stay?
We have a
I
say
mean, it
so
gives them
about.
acknowledgement
We have
of
a say
knowing.
so about their front door.
No,
Yeah.
as long as they've got a.
Right here, this is their front door. This is in the town.
As long as they've got access way, that's theirs.
Yeah,
Right.
but you.
If they have access to a road, but if they don't have access to another road outside of the city, yeah, they can do whatever they want. But I would dare say 95% of the ag land in Poetry, we pretty much have a say so about the front door.
Well, then they'll do what Bishop Field does.
Oh, yeah, I'm
They'll
not.
buy their tracks.
There you
Get
go.
their access.
Right.
And I get
Right,
that, but I'm
and they
just
get that.
saying by
It won't be
by
every
the
case though.
by the city at least having the knowledge as to what they're wanting to do, they can let the two ranchettes on the other side of that property give them a heads up just so they know. As a courtesy, hey, guess what? This is what you're fixing to have, opposed to one day, oh, they know the land was sold and a month later here comes in some bulldozers and all
Well,
that and they're like,
It would.
why weren't we notified?
So let me tell you
It's
something.
going to happen because there would be a zoning change, a request for zoning
Right.
change. There would be
A
a
public
meeting,
hearing,
a public
yes.
hearing.
We would get
It's
to
not
see
like-
it all.
It was just standard process.
Because right now we got
Any
nothing. So why not, let's do something where we got a little bit, at least we got a first look.
And we can let
Well, the first look needs to be something in writing to read.
Right,
It's gotta
that's
go to
what-
the
that's what
council,
this
to the
committee's doing.
lawyer. It's everybody's gotta see something in writing. Word, that's not enough.
But that's our job. That's
No.
why we're rewriting the ordinance.
Then write what you're wanting to propose, write it out.
I will.
As a
I
review.
will if y'all agree. But if you don't agree, I'm not going to waste my time.
Well, I'm not gonna agree until I see it in writing.
I'm not asking you to agree to it now. I'm asking you to comment and maybe agree to the concept,
I've
not
already
to the
given-
verbiage. All I'm asking for is a concept.
You've done a lot of talking, put it in writing.
I
And
will.
I can look at it,
I will.
and the rest of the
But
council.
are you?
can
Do
too.
you approve? Do you agree with the basic concept?
Not till I see it in writing.
The concept, not the writing. You'll get to
Dale,
see
you
the writing.
talk all over in circles, back and forth, ramble, bullshit. Put it in writing so we have something to read.
I will, but
not your bullshit.
do you agree with the concept of going down that road? Concept. But yeah, you're going to have to see the writing. You're going to get to see that.
Your rambling doesn't make sense to me.
So
All it
you're
does is
saying no.
ramble.
So you're saying no.
Put it in writing and we can
All right,
read
so
it.
you're saying no. What do y'all say?
I say you're not gonna get nothing resolved till it's in writing.
I'm sorry?
You're not gonna get anything resolved,
I'm just asking
especially
for concept.
between y'all,
I'm
unless
just
you're.
asking for the concept.
I'm good with you writing it
Mhm.
because I think that will help clear up some of
Okay,
the other
so I
things
got a
that
yes.
we've marked out and
Mhm.
revised. And I think if you gave this the work over of the things that we've talked about, striking, rewording this, redoing the numbers on the yardage, that would clear it up a lot. And then you're like, okay, here is the latest revision that we've been discussing of the zoning ordinance. Here it is. Y'all read over it. Then we can talk about it.
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Right. And that's why I'm trying to get it. But
What
yeah,
you've
I've got
laid
it.
out makes sense. Yes, it does. And yeah, moving forward, that makes a lot of sense because this is essentially what we've talked about from day one. The difference is we were going to eliminate the mother tract, but then we got bogged down for multiple meetings trying to make sense of how to zone the little strip. Going back to the mother tract, it's nonsensical, but it makes
know.
sense because
I struggle too.
I agree with having to look at it in whole, even though we have to stop there with zoning.
Mhm.
But yes, I agree with the concept.
Take a look. So setback. So I'll write it up. Because understand, and why I'm trying to get y'all's opinion now, I'm going to present the same thing to council.
Well,
But if y'all don't agree with it,
I agree with the setback, like you said.
On the sides, the
do-
front's the question.
Yeah, the sides for ag to do the 50, the
50?
ranchettes do the 30, and your littlest tracks do the 20.
Five,
So the
5,
50,
20,
yeah, so the 50, 30, 20,
20,
and that still gives everybody
and the less
plenty
than,
of
and the
room.
less than an acre, we still have some of those.
You
Yeah.
still have to set
Well,
one for them, at least
10?
10 or
At least
15.
10.
10 or
Y'all agree
15.
with 10? 15?
I'm a one that I would want as much as possible, so I would agree with 15 instead of 10.
All right. Well, let's start there. 50, 30, 20, 15.
Setbacks.
And we haven't touched commercial.
And
but we
those are
have
sides, right?
side setback.
Okay.
Your sides, because
Side setback. Okay, now front setback.
you have 75
We
written
have
in.
75 across the board, except for business, we have 55.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
that's
we
for
haven't
center
even
line
touched
road.
business yet. But for residential,
We have 75
just
and
keep
ag,
it
we have
75 all the
75.
way across.
I think so. I don't think any of that needs to be
75
changed.
from center line.
I
Now
don't
you were
think
talking
any of that
about
needs-
reading through deed restrictions, and a lot of the
Yeah.
ones that you were seeing,
Yeah.
they have them set back how
But
far?
there, we got them protected in the PD zone.
He
Right.
said-
No, I'm saying you were seeing
I-
instances up to over 100 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got. I mean, in Hidden Oaks, they have a 60-foot setback. They have more. They require more setback than our zoning.
Yeah.
And
And then you always just go with the most strict one. when
stricter
you're
one.
doing it.
So we're going to go 75 all the way across.
That's
and
what we have.
Less than an acre. What do we want to do there? 75 also
I
in the
mean,
1 acre or less.
well, we didn't.
We talked about it, but
Well, they're done, it doesn't matter. Less than 1 acre, they're grandfathered in, so. it
that's
doesn't
the
matter what you have.
that's grandfather and that's closed.
What
but
if they
there's
wanted to
still-
build something else on their
They
lot?
could still,
Build a barn
because of
or
the
a-
deed restrictions, they could still go into some areas and split it into 2 1-acre tracts. They're 2 acres.
Oh, you just said less than 1 acre.
Oh yeah, we're talking about less than 1 acre.
They'd split it into 2 1-acre tracts, one less than or equal to 1 acre. How about that? Less than or
No.
equal to, greater than,
The
less
minimum
than
is
or
1 acre.
1 acre.
Now, you're talking about the
All right,
less
so-
than 1 acre, they're all grandfathered.
So that's
So it
just
doesn't
good.
matter.
Okay, so you're right. So equal 1 acre, a 1-acre lot. What do we want for a front setback? Just, I mean,
Well, I guess
just
75 would.
plug some number
For
in. The council-
somebody new is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
somebody.
let's say, for example, the small lot that's already there and grandfather has their trailer there or whatever,
Mhm.
and
The
they
trailer
say-
burned.
the trailer burns and it's hauled off, and they said to hell with this, we're
Mm-hmm.
moving, and they sell their land to Joe. Well, now there's no more grandfathered.
Right.
Right.
So that's why he's trying to we're trying to have a setback for new people that wouldn't be
Like 1
grandfathered.
acre.
It
But
would-
it's less than 1 acre, so they can't build anything.
Well, no, but if they
No.
brought a trailer in,
We're going to say equal to 1 acre.
they would need a setback. There's still a setback that would be met that from the center of the road into the property. Like if they wanted to put their trailer as close as they
You're talking
could.
about a 1 acre, not less than 1 acre.
Right. We grandfathered, a closed grandfather on the people less than an acre.
So that
But-
you can never build anything.
Correct. Right. But that's not our problem. They're grandfathered in unless the county wants to do something.
So it doesn't
See, no
matter what
evil,
the
do no
setback is. If
No,
it's less
but
than
if-
1 acre.
Hidden Oaks, they have tons of 2-acre lots.
He's talking about one
Hey,
acre.
you keep changing
period.
the subject.
No, I'm not.
Get on one thing and stick with it, David.
You're not hearing it. If
Gosh.
wait, Tom, Hidden Oaks, they have 2-acre lot. Their deed restrictions say they can subdivide. Okay, you want to subdivide your lot? What is the health department going to say? 1 acre. Right? So there's a potential for that. So on a new 1 acre, just like you said, trailer burned down, he sells it, guy comes out and comes to us and says, now what can I do? Well, you show me a site plan. What do we want to say is the front setback?
It's harder on 1 acre. I'd have to look at a drawing.
But stick something in the hole.
Stick 75 in there, but
75 is a lot.
it's a lot.
On a two.
I would
Most
say,
of those are
I
under
would-
300 feet deep.
I would say 25, just because that's a setback for in a subdivision in a town, which are not big lots
Right.
for the most
They
part.
recover, yeah.
Then they have a 25 setback for the build line
Okay.
to start. So I would say, since it's a much smaller piece of property, to do 25. I mean,
Oh,
it's
what do you
the
have?
smallest piece of property that we
Mhm.
have in the town. So
I'd be between 25 and 50.
25?
I don't care.
25. Again, I'm writing this down so we can incorporate. We're just
So
putting
you
it in
can
there.
type it
This
up.
is a draft. Nothing is approved. Council is going to approve everything. We're just an advisory committee. Okay? You'll agree with that. So we got front setback and side setback. We got that accomplished. We roughly agreed to the concept here. Start drafting that up. The council will probably hear this same argument next Thursday.
What about rear setback?
I'm sorry.
What about rear setback? If it applies, it's in the current zone.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know where it applies.
What do we have?
Well, I
5
mean,
feet.
the problem
5
is,
feet?
yeah,
Rear setback?
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
It's not going to apply in so many cases, but probably in the 1 acre, there's chances that it could.
All right.
But
Let's rear setback. Ag? 100 feet?
the side
Rear
you have
setback.
50. I'd probably mirror the side.
I'm sorry.
mirror the
Mirror the
side.
side, wouldn't you?
How you got 50, 30,
50?
20?
At least,
I'm fine with that.
yeah.
Again, we're just making a recommendation. This is kind of minor recommendation.
Yeah, I would mirror the side setback and not be as restrictive on the front.
Same
But
thing, 30, 20, and
15.
wait, you get 25 front. On the less than 5, we did 20.
Mhm.
Well, we did 75.
From the front.
So we want to use the side setback here too. Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I understand now. Okay, rear setback, front setback, and side setback. All right. Anything else on?
No, I think at this point, just type up all that so we can look at it and go back through it and see what we think about it at that point, and see what we need to tweak.
So for closing minutes, throw out to be thinking about this month.
So I actually need to talk to y'all about that.
Yeah. But the one category that we haven't looked at is for lack of a commercial. We got to look at that.
Well, I think if just getting everything rewrote, which you have, will help clear up a lot and make it easier.
I just want you
Then
to
it will be
thinking about it.
easier to go in once we get that handled in our minds around it and understand more, than to be able to go in and do the commercial. Because honestly, I don't think the commercial is going to be near as hard.
Near as hard because
because-
there's so much data out there for it.
I mean, my biggest thing with that is it's not like we have lots of businesses. It's not like we have tons of businesses coming in. So
Mhm.
it's going to be easier to
Mm-hmm.
do the commercial part of it.
Well, and that brings up another question again to be thinking about, since right now we really don't have, or we got one, but we really don't have any vacant commercial land, this zone commercial in Poetry. We only have one or two maybe. Vacant, this zone commercial. So
Okay.
do we even want to put it in the zoning? Do we want to just
It may be that
leave it for
It-
future councils to
it
figure that
may
out?
be that I mean that we leave the commercial exactly how it is. Maybe just tweak the wording
Well,
if
what's
we
the
need to.
minimum acreage? That's a lot of acreage for a mom and pop in poetry?
Oh, well, I don't know. On there, we've got, I mean, on the chart,
Yeah,
It-
what's the chart?
Well, look, if Bishop Field comes in with all those people, Lamar Ranch comes in with
Lamar
even
Ranch.
more people, there's gonna be businesses that'll develop here to support those people.
Do we want to
it'll
do it
happen.
now?
And some of these people in the town of Poetry maybe are gonna come in and ask for zoning changes so they can put in a whatever, 7-Eleven or something,
So it has.
restaurant.
So
It's
you're,
gonna-
you're saying let's go ahead and do commercial zoning now?
I'm saying yes, because
okay.
I see both of those coming in, maybe
If
not
Lamar-
next year, but next 10 years, I see.
In
both of them.
Lamar, I 100% agree with you. If Lamar
Oh,
Ranch
it's
kicks
huge.
off, yeah, they've got like 7,000 acres,
2000.
2,000 there, but they also have,
Oh, that's over by
Yeah.
Buc-ee's. and
but
all
that's what
that.
I'm saying, they
Right.
have a total of
But they
about
have continuous
7,000 acres.
land. It's more than 2,000 acres going across 34.
34.
It's all part of the Lamar
And then
Ranch.
the one that's up, down 34, they got all of that.
Well, in any case, it's over 2,000 acres,
Mhm.
and they are going to develop it. I mean, I talked to them at
Yeah,
their own meeting. But
I mean, this Lamar
it's a matter
Hunt,
of when. Well, not anymore. It's a trust.
well,
It's
Trust,
it's
but-
and he's dead anyway.
yeah, well, yeah, he's been there.
But the trust is going to develop it. It's just a matter of when. And so they've got all that
We was
land.
set up for the great grandkids.
Some of it is set up in the town of Terrell. Some of it's in Poetry.
Mm-hmm.
But the bulk of it is not. Because Terrell only absorbed that area along the road of 276
Mm-hmm.
and then over on 34. But all that in between is not part of Terrell.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Hunts, they said they're fighting Terrell. They want to do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be locked in by Terrell's rules.
Yeah.
So that's going to develop. And when Bishop Field, if that develops, then there's going to be people that are entrepreneurs that are going to say, hey, we need more grocery stores and things like that, restaurants out in this area.
Oh.
And it's going to develop.
There'll be a Dollar General in our backyard.
What's that?
There'll be a Dollar General in our backyard for
Well,
sure.
there you go.
Actually, they want to. I talked to a buddy of mine does dollar stores, and he says right now you have too many. You don't have the traffic or the
Right.
population.
Yeah, but we
No,
will.
talking about 10 years from now.
Oh yeah, 10 years from now.
When all that goes.
All right, so on commercial, back to that. So what you're saying is we want to go ahead and redo commercial.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is on commercial, what I want you to start looking at, be thinking about, there's more to just say, oh, commercial, so many acres. It's all about parking. It's all about fire lanes. So
And all those lovely requirements.
all that, and it's green space, and just be thinking about that. Okay.
Well, the reality is that that's going to be stuff bring before the zoning committees or whatever it's called.
But we gotta have some
Council.
basic,
And they're going to be giving variances or approving lots, just like they do now in other towns. When someone wants to put in a buggies or anything,
but they're
they
pretty
have to
tough
go to
on
the
fire
town
lanes
to
and
get-
parking.
We're very tough
Tough.
on fire lanes
And parking.
and parking and making it beautiful.
Yeah.
So when we give you a landscape site plan, you better not let your stuff die,
Right.
because you're going to get
replant.
yourself in trouble, because these are basically still all the things that you're making an agreement with the city that you're going to hold up, keep the property in good condition. And so when you don't,
Well, I
But,
guess,
yeah.
all that will be resolved by the different committees that are here at that point. It's assuming they want to put it in on Poetry's land.
But we got to put it in writing today,
But
right?
yeah,
But I mean, it's going to happen whenever that happens, because we're 12 miles from Terrell and
Quinlan.
Quinlan and Rockwall and anything. So there's going to be small business, Dollar General or whatever, that's going to come in this area.
Eventually.
So yeah, go ahead.
I'll take a Dollar Tree.
But you can't plan exactly how much, because
No,
they're going to come
we're
in
not.
with different
We don't have anything zoned.
different needs.
If require, first of all, it require rezoning, because if it's specially ag,
Yeah, I mean, anything that a
Oh,
business comes in is
so
going to have to
they
come
have
in
to
and have
come to us,
rezoned.
because you can't do anything but ag. But we do need to write some basic and maybe we might even be able to refer, and you might be able to help us with that, refer to state law, state requirements on fire lanes and parking, and we just refer to that as our parking requirement and our fire lane requirement, because that's what we're gonna have to put in. We can't just put acres and setbacks. We're gonna have to state, because we don't have a development agreement or ordinance. We're going to have to put that in the zoning ordinance now until someday that document is done, and then they can change it. But we need the protection today until that building code is put in place.
Okay.
Right or wrong?
Yeah,
This is your
I mean, yeah,
bailiwick.
it's gotta be there to protect the city. I mean, we don't want to end up having another lawsuit or anything.
Well, the big thing is it's gotta be that they've gotta come to the town with their plans.
Yep.
Right.
And the town council has to
And
approve
we're going to put
plans.
it in writing today, and we'll put it in the zoning.
But if you put it in it that way, then that gives the council's, future council,
Right.
the opportunity to control it.
Right. So, when you think about it, if you run across a good, simple guideline, and I'm looking too.
Maybe Parker. Marty
Oh,
Parker
that's-
has a good one. I mean, since
Now they
theirs
do.
is simple
Yeah, and they have very little commercial,
for the fire lane.
very little. But I'll go look at theirs. Now, what's so far, I like Parker. Don't get me wrong. I love their town, and we ought to all go out and look at Parker, because it's a good example of what we could be. But they're so big and sophisticated now. I mean, it's a legal. I mean, your brain hurts when you try to interpret.
Well, or something like Caddo. They're small.
Mhm.
I
I
mean,
haven't looked at theirs.
I mean,
Have you looked at it?
no, but remember Mike used to.
Mhm.
He talked about
I'll look at it.
he used anytime when we used to meet, Mike would reference
Yeah.
Caddo a lot in our
I'll look
in
at
our
it.
zoning meetings
Yeah.
because they were simple, they were small. And I remember I don't remember but I remember reading through some of their stuff at one of our meetings, and it was very much like what we would have wanted because it's
Okay.
simple.
So,
um,
Caddo Mills.
Yeah, Caddo.
Look at McClendon Chisholm too. I've looked through theirs a little bit.
Who?
McClendon Chisholm. Because even though they have the major roadways, they still are lacking the central business districts. But
Yeah.
they have all that stuff
Yeah.
set up.
And so yeah,
'cause
they're
there's a good classic example.
They
They're growing, but they still don't really have the commercial development yet.
And they have water issues.
RCH is going to have problems for a long time.
Huh?
Yeah, RCH is a mess.
Well, plus McClendon Chisholm is close to Heath and other things. It's not like us. We're 12 miles away from anything.
Yeah.
The direction.
And you say it's crazy, but to me, it's such a convenience because I can make the choice to go to Terrell, to Quinlan, to Royce City, or to Rockwall, whatever. And
Right.
I don't really desire anything being in my backyard.
Well, but if developments come, those two that are mentioned,
Right.
a lot of those people are going to want things closer in, so they don't have to go. So, I'm like you, Brady. I don't want all that, and I don't want zoning. I just want to be left alone. On the other hand, those two are going to come at some point, and when they do, well, business is going to be, or commercial is going to be one of them that needs some way to make sure that they come to the town if they're going to build on the town property. Because for all that matter, the Hunts might put in their own property for commercial on their land.
Right, within,
And the other thing we need to look at for commercial is cross access.
Is what?
Cross access,
Oh, yeah.
because it controls your curb cuts,
Yeah.
but you got to have cross access. So be thinking about that.
Okay, so real quick, in September and October, I have a bit of a problem with the meetings. I start Citizen Fire Academy, and I found out that it's for 8 Thursdays in a row. So I start September the 3rd and it ends October the 22nd.
That sounds like a you problem.
Well, I won't be here at the meeting, so I mean, I didn't know.
Okay.
Can y'all three have a meeting without me and we're still all good?
Switch to Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm bringing
do
it up because I'm like,
So start in
Yeah.
September, you're talking about?
You know, I mean, I'd lots rather look at you than Dale, frankly.
I don't doubt that at all. So I just wanted to see.
I was about to say why I shouldn't.
All right, so what you're saying is our next meeting
Our next two meetings,
with the first one
September and October.
okay, the first one would be September 2nd.
Second.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. Is that
that's
Oh,
a
that's a
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Wednesday?
Yes,
Or Wednesday.
that's a Wednesday.
Okay, and then in October
That is the
would be
30th.
the
It's 7th.
7th.
Oh yeah, we could do the
You
7th.
could do the 7th.
I can do that. Are y'all good with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, October
So
7th.
the next two meetings, that's what?
Yeah.
9/2 and 10/7.
And then when we hit November, our
6 to
first
8.
meeting is going to be back on Thursday, so that would be November the 5th.
5th.
Oh, wait a minute. The 5th.
Oh, is that not good? We can change to whatever.
Is that a Wednesday?
That's a Thursday.
Thursday. We're back to Thursday.
No, November's back.
The 5th is okay. It's the 7th. I'll be out of town.
Okay, so I'll give these 3 dates to Laura to put on the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank y'all so
Make
much.
sure Scott can be,
All right?
if you're on your own, if he can't.
Huh?
I said, make sure Scott can be here.
Scott?
I have duties at church every Wednesday, around sounds and everything.
Well, again, this is an informal advisory. You know, we don't have to have a quorum or anything like that. And most of the time we have to redraft it anyway, and they'd look at it y'all get to look at it the next
Well, and
month.
that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, either way, you're going to draft it and email it to us so we can
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, we are not the final say so.
looking at it and